Some of you saw we made the difficult decision last week to halt our Lag Bomer musical service about 10 minutes after it started. It was at that time that texts and messages started coming my way, informing me that a terrible incident had just occurred in Meron. The scene there was chaotic. Many people were missing, dozens presumed dead, and hundreds more injured. An evacuation was just getting underway. As the evening proceeded, my shock just deepened, and I am still in mourning for the 45 people who lost their lives at Meron, including many young people and 2 Canadian citizens. I weep for the 2 sons of Rabbi Yitzchak Englund, a Bobav Chassid from Jerusalem, Yehoshua Englander, 9, and Moshe Natan Englander, 14. For Shragi Gestetner, a Skver Hasidic rabbi and musician who arrived in Israel from his hometown of Montreal to participate in the Lag Bomer celebrations. He was the father of 6. For Daniel Morris, 19, from New Jersey. He was a student at Shalvim and was described as a charming student who was hardworking and loved by his friends. I could spend this whole sermon telling you about the wonderful people whose lives were tragically cut short Thursday night. They leave behind wives and children and parents and siblings and friends. All of us join in their heartbreak and devastation. We continue to pray for a full and speedy recovery for all those who are injured, and we hope that this terrible tragedy provokes the government to take the necessary steps to make sure that something like this never happens again. But why did it happen? Mechanically, we know why it happened. Too many people crowded in too small a place. But I'm not asking about mechanics. I mean spiritually, theologically. Why did this happen? Of course, it takes a bit of arrogance to try and answer the question. God has his reasons for everything, and we can't pretend to know and understand. But actually, Jewish philosophy does encourage and invite us, whenever we see righteous people suffering, to seek the deeper message. Yefashpesh b'ma'asav, the Talmud says. Look carefully into your deeds. Consider, even though you'll never know for sure, what God, who is in control of everything, might be trying to tell you. With that in mind, I can't help but connect the events from Thursday night to a story told in the Talmud in Tractate Psachim. Tanu Rabbanan, Me'olam lo nitma'ech adam ba'azara. Our rabbis taught there was never anyone crushed in the temple courtyard. Now you have to remember, 3 times a year, everybody came to the temple in Jerusalem. Not just a few people, everybody. It was a mitzvah. And people came on Yom Kippur to see the Avodah service. And people came on Erev Pesach. In the second temple period, maybe 1 million people to offer the Passover sacrifice. But never was anyone crushed. Chutz mi Pesach echad, except for one Passover, shehaya bimei Hillel, in the days of Hillel, shenitma'ech bo zaken echad, an old man was crushed. V'hayu kor'in oto Pesach me'uchin, and they called that Passover the crushed Passover. Let's try and understand the significance of this passage. Before the temple was built, a Jew could offer her sacrifices anywhere she wanted in the country. There were many different altars all over the place. But after the temple was built, everyone had to come to one place, even from great distances. Think about it. What a tremendous inconvenience. But think also about what motivated that inconvenience. So many of us have been separated for so long from our families, and it hurts. Video and phone conversations are nice, but nothing can replace physically being together. Those moments of reunion are what make a family strong, and they also strengthen the bonds of Jewish peoplehood. I would even say there's something spiritual about having our family together, about having everybody together at once in the same place. Think of what the temple must have been like. People from all walks of life, from all over the country, young and old, rich and poor, getting together in order to be close to God and to see what it means to be one nation. And miraculously, year after year, despite the crowds, nobody was crushed, except one year. But notice the name given to that event, Pesach Me'uchin. Not the Pesach where somebody was crushed, the Pesach that was crushed. The holiday that was ruined because of one old man who was crushed in the crowd. Today, we don't have that gathering because there's no temple. Today, the closest way we have of connecting to God is through Torah. And Torah is what Lag BaOmer is really about. Celebrating Rabbi Akiva and his students learning Torah. Celebrating Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the one who mastered all the secrets of the Torah. And we go to Meron, tens of thousands of people, to celebrate the Torah. You might say that Lag BaOmer in Meron is the closest experience we have to what it must have been like in the temple in Jerusalem. In Meron, there are many different people, all kinds of Jews from all over the world, from Hasidim in their shtreimels to the totally non-observant, Jews from all ethnic origins, gathered in unity in celebration of a common heritage and a common purpose. Last Thursday, my friends, was our Lag BaOmer Me'uchin. Not the Lag BaOmer where people were crushed, the Lag BaOmer that was crushed. I don't think it takes too much research to understand that there's a message here, a message common to both events. The second temple was destroyed because of division and baseless hatred between Jews, because we trampled and crushed our brothers and our sisters. We did it then, and we do it now. We do it when we disrespect other Jews and insult their dignity. We do it when we sow division. We do it when we discriminate against women, when we discriminate against LGBT. We do it when we put our own interests ahead of the collective interests. We have become all too comfortable in the Jewish world today with division, with accusation, even with expulsion. And we crush each other. And last week, it's as if God said to that crowd, if this is how you treat each other day to day, then you can't have a Lag BaOmer. Because the whole point of Torah is the unity of the Jewish people. Yisrael ve'oraita chad hu. The Jewish people and the Torah are one. And if you reject that essential principle, then you can't have a Lag BaOmer. 2,000 years ago, when Passover was canceled at the temple, the same thing happened. The whole point of Passover is Jewish unity. The holiday that celebrates our birth as a nation, that's Pesach, even before there was a Torah. And when nationhood, when Klal Yisrael no longer has any meaning for us, then festival gatherings like Pesach, like Lag BaOmer, they just become giant festivals of hypocrisy. Dear friends, the Shivas for the 45 victims are now concluding. We are just starting, really, to process this enormous disaster. The sadness and the grief abides, but so must our conviction that we can best honor the memory of the victims by examining our priorities and our conduct as Jews. This was our Lag BaOmer Me'uchin, our crushed Lag BaOmer. That is how it will always be remembered. May we be worthy of its restoration. Shabbat Shalom.